간다. 그냥 궁금해서 와봤어 또. 선물기는 꺼졌네 다행히. 헤 이제 선물 못 보내지롱.
Did Taehyung really spend years misunderstanding Jungkook? What if one quiet confession changed everything they thought they knew about each other? And what if the emotional moment that followed became something no one, including ARMY, could have imagined? Stay until the very end because every conversation, every silence, and every tear leads to a heartfelt ending that may leave you speechless. If you enjoy emotional BTS fanfiction, don't forget to leave a comment sharing your thoughts, like this story, and subscribe for more fictional narratives inspired by the world of BTS. The evening sky above Seoul shimmered with soft shades of orange and purple as the members of BTS wrapped up another exhausting day of rehearsals. Laughter echoed through the practice room as everyone slowly packed their belongings. But one corner of the room remained strangely quiet. Taehyung sat alone, staring absent-mindedly at the polished wooden floor. His expression was unreadable, yet there was something heavy hidden behind his eyes, something that had lingered there for far longer than anyone realized. Across the room, Jungkook noticed him immediately. For months, perhaps even years, he had grown accustomed to reading the smallest changes in Taehyung's expressions. Even when everyone else believed Taehyung was perfectly fine, Jungkook could always tell when something was weighing on his heart. He hesitated before walking over. "Hyung, are you okay?" Taehyung looked up and forced a small smile. "I'm fine." It was the same answer Jungkook had heard countless times. But tonight felt different. Something in Taehyung's voice sounded fragile. Something was about to change. Neither of them knew that this ordinary evening would become the beginning of the most emotional conversation they had ever shared. Hours later, after everyone had returned home, Taehyung found himself standing alone on the rooftop of the company building. The city lights stretched endlessly beneath him, glowing like countless stars scattered across the earth. He closed his eyes. Memories flooded back one after another. Moments of laughter. Moments of silence. Moments when he believed Jungkook had drifted away. For so long, Taehyung had quietly convinced himself that the younger member no longer needed him the way he once had. As Jungkook matured, gained confidence, and became one of the world's biggest stars, Taehyung slowly began wondering whether their friendship had simply become another chapter left behind. He never said those thoughts aloud. Instead, he buried them. Every smile became a mask. Every joke became a shield. Until eventually, he started believing his own fears. The rooftop door opened softly. Jungkook stepped outside carrying 2 cups of coffee. "I thought I'd find you here." Taehyung chuckled quietly. "You know me too well." Jungkook handed him one of the cups before standing beside him. Neither of them spoke. Sometimes silence said more than words ever could. Several minutes passed before Taehyung finally broke the silence. "Can I ask you something?" Jungkook nodded. "Of course." Taehyung looked toward the city instead of meeting Jungkook's eyes. "Have you ever felt like someone important slowly stopped needing you?" Jungkook frowned. "What do you mean?" Taehyung let out a long breath. "I've been thinking." His voice trembled. "For a long time, I believed you changed." Jungkook blinked in surprise. "I thought you became distant. I thought your new life mattered more. I thought..." He paused. "That maybe I wasn't as important to you anymore." The words hung heavily between them. Jungkook stared at Taehyung in complete disbelief. He had never imagined his closest friend carried such thoughts. For several seconds he couldn't even respond. Finally he laughed softly. Not because it was funny. Because he couldn't believe how wrong everything had become. "Hyung." He shook his head. "I thought the exact same thing." Taehyung slowly turned. "What?" Jungkook smiled sadly. "I thought you were the one pulling away." Silence. Neither of them expected that answer. Both had spent months suffering from the exact same misunderstanding. Neither had been brave enough to say it aloud. Taehyung covered his face with one hand before laughing helplessly. "We're unbelievable." Jungkook laughed too. "Seriously. We're idiots." The laughter slowly faded. What remained was something far deeper. Relief. Years of invisible walls began crumbling without either of them realizing it. Taehyung looked at Jungkook with eyes beginning to shine. "I'm sorry." Jungkook immediately shook his head. "No. I'm sorry too." Taehyung's voice became quieter. "I judged you. I assumed things without asking. I thought success had changed you." Jungkook looked genuinely hurt. "Hyung, I've always admired you. I've always wanted you beside me. No matter how busy things became, I never stopped needing my friend." Taehyung felt his vision blur. Tears slowly gathered. Not because of sadness, because of relief. Years of anxiety disappeared within a single conversation. Jungkook gently smiled. "Why didn't we just talk earlier?" Taehyung laughed through his tears. "Because we're terrible at talking about our feelings." "I guess so." For the first time in what felt like forever, everything felt simple again. The cold night breeze surrounded them. The city continued moving beneath the stars. But time itself seemed to pause. Taehyung suddenly reached out. Jungkook immediately understood. The two shared a warm embrace. No cameras. No audience. No expectations. Just two lifelong friends reminding each other that misunderstandings could disappear the moment honesty replaced fear. Neither noticed that inside the building, Namjoon happened to glance through the rooftop window. He smiled quietly. Without interrupting them, he simply whispered to himself. Finally. The following morning, something had changed. Not dramatically. Not loudly. But everyone noticed. Taehyung laughed more freely. Jungkook smiled more often. Their conversations felt effortless again. Jimin noticed first. "You two seem happier." Taehyung exchanged a glance with Jungkook before both smiled. "We finally talked." Jimin nodded knowingly. "Sometimes that's all it takes." The members never asked for details. They didn't need to. The atmosphere spoke louder than words. Over the following weeks, small moments reminded everyone why their friendship had touched millions of fans around the world. Late-night conversations returned. Playful teasing returned. Comfortable silence returned. Most importantly, trust returned. One evening, while sitting together after rehearsal, Taehyung quietly spoke. "You know." Jungkook looked over. "I really did misjudge you." Jungkook smiled gently. "And I misunderstood you too." Taehyung shook his head. "I wish I had trusted you more." Jungkook answered without hesitation. "We both learned something. Never let silence tell someone else's story." Those words stayed with Taehyung. Because they were true. Fear often creates stories that reality never intended. Weeks later, while watching the sunset together, Taehyung smiled softly. "I'm glad we didn't lose each other." Jungkook chuckled. "We were never lost. We just forgot to ask for directions." Both burst into laughter. The sound echoed across the empty rooftop. Somewhere below, the city continued racing toward tomorrow. But for these two friends, tomorrow no longer felt uncertain. It felt hopeful. The misunderstanding that once seemed impossible to overcome had quietly transformed into one of the strongest reminders that honest conversations can heal even the deepest emotional distance. And although the world outside would never know every word spoken that night beneath the soul sky, one thing remained certain. Friendship isn't measured by the number of conversations people have, It's measured by the courage to have the one conversation that matters most. As the stars slowly appeared above them once again, Taehyung looked toward Jungkook with complete sincerity. "I'm grateful you're still here." Jungkook smiled exactly the way he always had. "I never left." In that simple answer, every lingering doubt disappeared. No dramatic speeches. No impossible promises. Just two friends rediscovering what had always existed between them. Sometimes the strongest bond isn't the one that never breaks. It's the one that finds the strength to heal after being tested by misunderstanding, fear, and silence. And perhaps that was the greatest lesson hidden within their story. Not every distance means goodbye. Sometimes, it simply means two hearts are waiting for someone brave enough to say the first honest word. The warmth of that quiet confession lingered far longer than either of them expected. For the first time in what felt like years, Taehyung returned home without carrying an invisible weight on his shoulders. The city lights outside his apartment window looked no different than they had the night before, yet somehow everything felt brighter. He stood silently in front of the glass, replaying every word Jungkook had spoken on the rooftop. "I never left." Those three words echoed over and over in his mind. It amazed him how fear could quietly rewrite reality. He had spent countless nights convincing himself that their friendship had faded simply because life had become busier. Every missed dinner, every postponed conversation, every rehearsal that ended with both of them heading in different directions had slowly built a wall neither of them realized they were creating. Yet the wall had never truly existed. It had been made entirely of assumptions. Across the city, Jungkook found himself smiling for reasons he couldn't explain. While organizing a stack of music sheets in his studio, he suddenly laughed to himself. So that's what he was thinking all this time. He leaned back in his chair. "So stubborn, Hyung." His smile slowly softened. "But I wasn't any better." For months he had also believed Taehyung wanted more space. Every time Taehyung quietly excused himself after practice, Jungkook assumed he wanted to be alone. Every time Taehyung spent more time speaking with the other members, Jungkook convinced himself that interrupting would only make things awkward. Neither realized they were protecting themselves from pain that never actually existed. The following morning, the atmosphere inside HYB headquarters felt unusually relaxed. Everyone had gathered early for choreography practice. Jimin immediately noticed something strange. Taehyung was humming while stretching. Jungkook was teasing him about missing a dance move. The playful energy had returned almost overnight. Jin looked around with exaggerated confusion. "Did I miss something?" Yoongi glanced toward the younger members before smirking. "I think two people finally remembered how to communicate." Namjoon chuckled quietly but chose not to comment. He had suspected for a long time that silence, not conflict, had been the real problem. The rehearsal continued with endless laughter. Every mistake became another reason to laugh instead of another source of pressure. At one point, Jungkook accidentally spun in the wrong direction during practice, bumping directly into Taehyung. Both nearly fell. Instead of apologizing, Taehyung burst into uncontrollable laughter. "You've gotten worse." Jungkook pointed dramatically. "Excuse me? You distracted me. You bumped into me. Because you moved." The room exploded with laughter. Even the choreographer smiled. Moments like these had once been ordinary. Now they felt precious. That evening, after everyone finished recording, Jungkook suggested they stop by a small cafe they used to visit years earlier. Taehyung immediately agreed. When they entered, the elderly owner looked up from behind the counter. For a brief second she stared in surprise. Then her face lit up. "You two finally came back together." Taehyung exchanged a curious glance with Jungkook. "You remember us?" The woman laughed warmly. "Of course. You always ordered different drinks but somehow ended up sharing both." Jungkook laughed. "I forgot about that." So did I, Taehyung admitted. The owner placed 2 familiar cups on the table before either of them ordered. I remember. They sat near the same window they had occupied years ago. Outside, gentle rain began falling against the glass. The sound created a peaceful silence between them. Taehyung stirred his coffee slowly. Can I ask you another question? Jungkook nodded. Anything. When did you first think I was pulling away? Jungkook stared into his cup before answering honestly. Disclaimer: the following story is a work of fan fiction created solely for entertainment. It is entirely fictional and does not depict real events, statements, or relationships involving BTS members or any real individuals.